my head's cut off.
No, it isn't. It's perfect.
All right, ready?
Go.
Is it going?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Hang on. Are you looking at the camera over here?
No, I was looking at you.
Hi, I'm Rev.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to another edition of What Yacht to Do.
We're going to take you on our trip today from the Sands Harbor Resort Marina in Pompano Beach up to an anchorage just north of West Palm Beach.
Yes, we are going around America's Great Loop aboard the Here's to Us.
It's about a 42-mile trip, and today's challenge is a number of bridges, 17 bridges in total.
Wow.
And that was a lot, but only 6 that had to open, so we'll talk to you a little bit about timing those bridges and getting through the bridges. The ones that had to open were anywhere between 9 feet and 19 feet. So let's go. Well, here's our trip as it is portrayed on Navionics, and it's Pompano Beach up to north of West Palm Beach that we are heading, 42 miles.
Now, when we left this marina, Sands Harbor, usually I like to take a video of us leaving, so I really like that shot and the way it looks. This was a traumatic experience. I was way too nervous this time.
You were nervous.
Why don't you tell them why?
Yeah, there was a lot of wind. It seemed like there was just the perfect place where the buildings were funneling the wind in, and so it was a combination of thrusters and boat poles and got
all
out of there.
Of our neighbors were out there trying to help us keep our boat off of their boats. And it was just a really windy morning with the fuel dock right in front of us. So we had to maneuver around that. I thought you did a fine job getting us out of there.
It's a fine job. If we didn't trade paint, have to write a check for another person's boat. So we got out of there.
Of course, on this stretch, the homes that we saw, there's a canal there, and you can see how they put their boats up on the side. But the homes were just big and beautiful.
And here's the first of our 6 bridges that we had to have open to get through today. I mentioned previously, I think there was a total of 17 bridges, 6 that had to open.
Do you usually call them on the phone, or do you use the radio?
Well, normally they're on channel 9, but all the bridges are on channel 9, and so with the bridges being this close together, the ones that need to open, sometimes there's bleed over. So I have a phone number from Active Captain or Navionics, and I get that, and I will call them to ensure that the schedule is as posted. Do they see any problems? And just make contact with the bridge tender is something that I like to do.
Yeah, so as we're traveling along, you can see that I like to look at the houses in the area and the boats. And these were some of the biggest houses and the biggest boats.
And look at that big boat. I don't know what that is, if that's a Nordhaven or what it is, but it is certainly a seagoing machine.
Yeah, I really thought we were past the huge houses after we left Fort Lauderdale, but no, they're everywhere.
And you can see this bridge looks like it's low, but we've calculated it, and we are very confident.
You're very confident.
Yeah, the highest thing on our boat is the FM antenna, which is kind of on a whip. It's at 19, so I never heard that thing click all day. So, or we could see it kind of wobble if it did. No problems.
Right.
There's another bridge. That one had to open for us.
Yep, I was kind of surprised that there were even any boats out, just because it was so windy and it was a Monday. It wasn't like the weekend traffic.
Yeah, and a lot of houses and no wake areas and anchorages that were going by. So we're doing slow. I think the most that we did was, on an average of 8 to 9 miles per hour, except for one time where we sped up a little bit to try to make a bridge opening just for a short period of time.
And so, yeah, it was just a lovely day.
Yeah, not a lot of traffic out that I remember.
Yet.
Yeah. At this point.
Right.
Another bridge. Look at how low that looks.
Oh my goodness, I know. I sat up in the front to do this recording, and I was nervous every time.
Yeah.
But I just thought, doesn't that look cool?
Yeah. But if you use a combination of looking at the data in your Navionics or Active Captain, as well as confirming with the boards, the height boards off to the side, you're okay.
Yeah, so how many total bridges today did you say?
17, 6 that had to open. And you can see the bridge height is calculated from low steel, and on this particular bridge, you can see there's an arch there, so it will tell you about how many extra feet you have, calculating from low steel. Now this one, you can tell here, it's obviously a little higher on the right than it seems. You can see that low steel on the left, so I kind of went a little bit to the right, even though this one wasn't a factor at all. But the importance of really knowing what your boat height is.
Yeah, and this is where it started getting crowded. So you can see boats coming both ways there. And I don't know. I don't like a lot of traffic.
Yeah, well, this was basically, there's a couple bridges close together. You can see one way in the distance there.
Did you know there was going to be this many bridges in
Yes,
Florida?
Yeah.
I didn't.
In fact, that's why we had considered going on the outside, because we had seen this area before, but it was such great weather, and I really didn't want to have to mess with going out and back in and, you know, looking at the height of the waves on the outside. It was a beautiful day to be able to just cruise and see the scenery.
Right. And the interesting thing about all these bridges is that sometimes they open on the hour and the half hour, some open 15 after and 45 after, some open on demand. So you really like this, you know, you have to know what you're getting yourself into before you get started.
Yeah, particularly on a journey like this with 42 miles and going from there.
I like the way this looks. It looks like a princess bridge, like Rapunzel should be up there.
But going through all the bridges, you'll see over there, there's the height board, and that looks like 21 feet. And you'll also see idle speed, so no wake going through the bridge areas, because like I think I've said before, there could be fishermen around, or there could be people working near the bridge. Just want to go slow and be cautious if there's another oncoming boat. Give yourself some space. If in fact it's a bigger boat, you may have to radio the other captain and coordinate if the space is an issue. Hey, who's going to go first?
Looks like we finally have some wide open space here for a change.
It looks like wide open space, but it's really not. You don't want to be venturing off over into the side there, because the channel is very narrow. And you will get a depth alarm that will go off if you've set your depth alarms properly. Just stay in the channel in these areas. It's very important.
What do you set the depth on?
What I do is I set for coming in and out of a harbor or anchorage, I'll set it to 5 feet.
Oh.
That's 5 feet below the sensors.
Uh-huh.
And then route is I'll have on my checklist to set it to 10 feet or something suitable. So as I'm going along, if I start to get into shallow water, I have enough time to be able to react.
Okay. Well, that's really good.
Yeah. All right. Today is kind of bridge day. We stopped in Pompano Beach, where we got that amazing deal on diesel fuel at $1.89. Haven't seen that in a long time. And today was a day of bridges. And so in my preparation for bridges, the first thing that you really need to know is the height of everything on your boat. And so what I have 4 items on the top of the boat. I have an anchor light, I have a radar, I have a wind vane, and I have an FM antenna that essentially we would have to get up on the top. And I say we, Rev would have to get up on the top through the portholes here and go up and put them down. But I know what those are, and you should know for your boat what they are when they're not folded down, because you may not want to go up and fold them down. It may not be worth it. So I made a little diagram here, and I should probably put all this stuff on PowerPoint here, but I know that my FM antenna goes up to 18 12, so almost 19 feet. 18.2 is for my wind. 17.1 is for the top of my Garmin. And then 17.4.5 to the top of my anchor light. Now I also have 2 whip antennas. They'll go up to 19, but I folded those down. So really what I'm looking at is about 18, 11 and a half on that whip antenna. If it did happen to hit on the whip antenna, we go so slow through a bridge, I'm not too worried about that. It's just going to kind of go back. So what you have to do is you have to go through all the bridges on your route. And so what I did is I just printed off some Google Maps and I went along in Navionics. And what I did is I copied down each bridge along the way, and then I figured out which one, and the ones that have the squares around them or the rectangles around them are the ones that I'm going to have to worry about. And so what I do is I know that those bridges will have to open for me, and I will time it. I know that this one, for example, opens at 15 and 45. It's 12 feet, so I have to have that open. Down here, Southern Boulevard, that's the next one we're coming to. It's just south of Mar-a-Lago. And so 1024.7 is the mile marker. And what I'll do is I'll throw that out there on my auto guidance, and that will give me an estimation to when I'm going to be. And for example, right now is I'm going to get there at 3:08. Okay, so I'm going to be about 7 minutes early, and that's okay because I think there's 2 more bridges, or at least 1 more bridge that I'm going to have to slow down, even though it doesn't have to open. When you go through the bridges, they're going to have a minimum wake, so we're going to be slowing it down to minimum wake speed. And we can slow it down a little bit more. It's a beautiful day, so why rush to get there? The only thing I could do is to push it up and just burn a lot of fuel and, waste all the good scenery here and get there half hour, 20 minutes earlier and maybe make the 45. But hey, why not just take it easy today? So use your, the bottom line is know the boat height, what it is, all the movable objects. Go and study the bridge openings and kind of just draw it out on something that makes sense, because sometimes going back and forth between your Garmin and your Navionics can get a little confusing. So have a little cheat sheet like that, that's something that makes sense and shows that you studied it a little bit. And that's pretty much our bridge day today. So we are having a great time. We're planning on anchoring at one of 2 places and just dropping the hook and enjoying the evening, and then picking it up tomorrow and seeing some more beautiful scenery along the Gulf Coast, the Treasure Coast, and then eventually into the Space Coast. All right, so another bridge, and you can kind of see the low steel on this one is off to the left. And here we go underneath that particular bridge. Here's something I want to talk about on the chart plotter. This is the route that was put in, the auto guidance route from my Garmin. And there you will see a point that I had named on Navionics and imported 1028.8 and in parentheses 35. And that's 1028.8 miles, the mile marker, so just I could kind of keep track. And if I needed to figure out when I was going to get to that point, I could. However, I did auto guidance to the next bridge that had to open to be able to time it. And look what auto guidance did. If I had my autopilot on and coupled to my route, the magenta line, it would take me right into that bridge abutment. So you really need to be careful. I've talked about this before, and I've emailed Garmin and I still don't have an answer. Why it is doing that, I don't know, but it really makes you want to be cautious when using automation. So just a heads up.
And so we came up on this construction, so what's happening
this
here?
Is not just any construction area. I had learned from Looperpalooza through Dave Fuller, the Dave Fuller in Arlington, Texas, a fellow Texan, told me about this, and he presented at the Looperpalooza. that this is a security zone. It's the Southern White House, and President Trump could decide to come there at any time. They would publish a notice to mariners, and this area could be shut down. So you really need to watch and have a backup plan in case it does. And we had this same type of experience when we were in Hawaii during President Obama was in office, and they shut down the entire area around Kaneohe, that area, Kailua. And we were out just kind of driving around, and all of a sudden there's a security zone, and we were able to, luckily, duck into a neighborhood bar and kind of wait things out. But you may not have that option, so just be careful if you are transiting this area about the security zone that could pop up with very little notice, and you may be trapped. Beautiful yachts in this area, the West Palm Beach area. Another bridge. This one didn't have to open for us. And you can kind of see again more space in the middle from the low steel or low concrete, depending on the construction of the bridge, but plenty of space under this particular bridge.
We did see a lot of anchorages, giant yachts waiting at a marina or at a yard.
Look at those babies. They're beautiful, aren't they? Yeah.
So this is the anchorage that we finally got to, and it was a really peaceful, beautiful area. We were the only power boat there among all those sailboats.
And while this anchorage is marked, there's also some areas that aren't marked that are great for anchorage. It's actually right across from the old Port Cove Marina, which I believe now is a safe harbor marina, but a great place to anchor, and we were protected all night and had a beautiful night there. Just got in just right before sunset, which was great, and had this shot as we were shutting her down for the night.
But it is a famous golfer area.
Yeah, Jack Nicklaus Drive is right around the corner, so great place for you to look up and tuck in there. Hey, thanks for joining us on our trip from Pompano Beach up to an anchorage north of West Palm Beach in the Jack Nicklaus neighborhood. We didn't see him out there.
No, we didn't. But if you'd like to see more pictures about this short trip we took, go to whatyachttodo.com and search for number 94.
Oh yes, the blog post. You do such a great job. She does such a great job on the blog post. I actually, she surprises me with them, and I read them after we've done the video, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really good. All right, we'll see you next time.